Understanding the end times is one of the most important for the Christian life, because the ultimate goal of the Christian life is to enter the kingdom of God, and that is also the main objective of Satan, to lure many, including believers, into eternal hell, waiting for it, in the last day of God's judgment. The most important thing about the study of the end times is to understand that at this present time we are entering the end time, or more precisely, the prophecies about the final ages, especially the things that are written in the book of Revelation, are going to happen in the very near future. The time has come for people who have not yet believed in the Lord Jesus Christ to make a decision, believing in Jesus and being saved and delivering for the last days. And what is important is now, every Christian must realize and study the teachings of the Bible about the last days to understand and to be able to live until the day when Jesus returns to receive us into his kingdom of heaven. One of the importance of the study of the latter days is because of the last days. It is one of the key teachings of Jesus Christ, taught and charged with his disciples in Matthew 24, the whole chapter. Matthew chapter 24, verse 1-0 verse 3, said, "And Jesus went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came to him, for to shew him the buildings of the temple. And Jesus said unto them, See ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another, that shall not be thrown down. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming, and of the end of the world? At that time Jesus and his disciples came out of the temple of God, and Jesus spoke, as prophesied, that this temple would be completely destroyed. Then he and his disciples went on to the Mount of Olives, and his disciples asked him 3 interesting questions. First, when will these things happen? Second, what are the signs of his coming? And the third, what is the sign of the end time? The question asked, when will these things happen? What is noteworthy is that, earlier, in Matthew 24 verse 2, Jesus mentioned a single event, the destruction of the temple. But in verse 3, the disciples asked, these events, when would they take place? Which are plural. This makes it clear that Jesus was teaching something other than the destruction of the temple. It is certainty that Jesus taught the disciples about the last days and his second coming from the question that the disciples asked, then what was the sign of his coming and signs of the end time? Matthew chapter 24, verse 4 to verse 6, said, And Jesus answered, and said unto them, Take heed, that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many, and ye shall hear of wars, and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Jesus did not answer the disciples the first question, asking, when will these things happen, but first answered the last question, which asked about the signs of the last days. The answering as a warning and as the commands of 2 things, beware and be not frightened. What Jesus has given us caution and beware is that no one be deceived into believing in a false Christ. Jesus said, Many will come in his name, claiming themselves to be the Christ, and deceiving many people. And what he commanded, fear not, is not afraid of war, in verse 6 said, Beware, ye shall hear rumors of war, fear not, these things must happen, but it's not the end yet. Jesus clearly said that there would be a war which had to happen first. However, Jesus said that, but that was not the end, by extending, in Matthew 24, verse 7 to verse 8, said, For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines, and pestilences, and earthquakes, in divers places, all these are the beginning of sorrows. This sentence also recorded in Luke chapter 21, verse 10 to verse 11, said, Then said he unto them, Nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and great earthquakes shall be in divers places, and famines, and pestilences, and fearful sights and great signs shall there be from heaven. According to the verse in this passage, there are 4 things that must happen, which is a sign of entering the last days. The first thing is war, happened in many areas. Second, famine, or collapse of the global economy. Third, an epidemic that will spread all over the world. And the fourth thing is earthquake or natural disaster, which will happen severely, and many occur around the world. The word nation rises against the nation. The Greek uses the word ethnos, mean ethnicity fighting against ethnicity, meaning the fight between nations. The word kingdom against the kingdom. The word kingdom in Greek uses 2 different words, is the word basileia and basilean. The word basileia means a kingdom that is a place, territory, ruling power, or dynasty, or a monarchy, and for the word basilean mean the people of the kingdom. What Jesus said, therefore, refers to the civil war, the people fighting, or against the government, including fight for the people, to overthrow the government, or overthrow the monarchy. What we have seen throughout history is the collapse of the monarchy, especially after the French Revolution, in the year 1789 BC to 1799 BC, after that doctrine of democracy has spread to a wide area, throughout Europe and the whole world. At that time, the secret organization had already been established. To overthrow of the monarchy is the primary target of the secret organization because the monarchy is inherited by lineage, therefore difficult to control, because unable to set up their own people, come to serve as the supreme leader. But democracy, change country to be an organization, or corporation, leaders can be appointed, or change, and that country will be controlled, under the network, of these secret organizations. The second that going to happen is famine, or collapse of the economy. Bible defines a famine, that it will occur, in a global manner, which is different from famine in general, as often happens, in underdeveloped countries, poor countries, or countries that are constantly in the war. Bible is referring to famine, which will be severe, affecting the world. Both developed countries and developing countries will all face this crisis. This famine will happen from the collapse of capitalist economies, because in reality, famine, especially in the present, does not happen from the manufacturing sector. We will find that, from the year 1961 to 2022, total global agricultural output has grown steadily, growing from $1 trillion in 1961 to $4 trillion in 2022, or 4 times. But the famine, or starvation of people this time, will be caused by the economic collapse of the capitalist system, both the public sector and the government. There will be no money, lack of liquidity, and in debt, inflation will skyrocket, people will not be able to afford food to live on. This is what happened in some less, or developing countries by now, and will happen to the developed countries, and will happen all over the world, and more, and will be the first time in the history of the world, in the whole world, no country has been able to avoid this crisis. This is the picture of the famine that Jesus spoke of. The next thing that Jesus mentions is generally thought to be the pestilence. However, in the context in which Jesus is speaking, the word pestilence is translated in a different sense in the King James Bible. Matthew used the words pestilence, appeared in Matthew chapter 24, verse 7, said, For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines, and pestilences, and earthquakes, in divers places. Mark records these words as troubles, in Mark chapter 13 verse 8, said, For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be earthquakes in divers places, and there shall be famines and troubles. These are the beginnings of sorrows. Luke used the word pestilences, and the fearful sights, recorded in Luke chapter 21, verse 10 to 11, said, Then said he unto them, Nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and great earthquakes shall be in divers places, and famines, and pestilences, and fearful sights and great signs shall there be from heaven. In fact, the word pestilence, in the original Greek, used the word phobratron, is a genderless noun, also known as neuter, meaning a terrible sight, cause of terror, an object of fear, which is translated in Luke, give the meaning most closely related to the Greek version. Most likely, because Luke, being a professional doctor, had a clear understanding of what Jesus was referring to at that time and was able to choose the most appropriate words used for recording. From the verse of the Bible right now, this word is translated as the epidemic or pestilence, causing nowadays, many believers think, the epidemic that happened since the year 2019 is the fearful thing that Jesus mentioned, which seems likely to be. Before continue this content, according to YouTube policy, we can't say anything directly about the epidemic in year 2019 and the cure they claim, so in the video, we'll use the initial E19 for the epidemic and the letter M for the cure they claim. When studying various information about E19, found that the number of people infected with E19 accumulated at the present time is approximately 760 million people, or 9.5% of the world's population. The number of deaths from the E19 is approximately 7 million, or 0.9% of the number of cases. But when compare the number of deaths from the E19 to the world population, it's only 0.08%, so E19 looks like it shouldn't be the thing that caused scare, fearful and terror. Indeed, what is scarier, and even more deadly than E19, is the nanobot chemical that call the M. It is known among open-minded, and carefully studied, and people whom God has revealed, the cure they claim actually the chemical that destroys the recipient's immunity, and there is no way regaining that strong immunity. The effects of the M not only causing death, that are widely seen today, but the M also contain of the nanobot that not yet activated, but will be activated when the system and network ready. To receive the M is something that has never happened in the world history, is that the whole world, some are willing, some are forced, but about 8 billion people in the world, the vast majority receive the M. The amount of the M that people receive in the whole world is more than 13,300 million doses, because one person receive more than one dose. The impact of the M will be even more scary in the future, and this seems to be possible, the cause of death, and the horror that Jesus mentions in the Bible, because it is one of the tools to control the human. It is the new technology that can control human by unit and to fulfill the depopulation plan of the secret organization of Satan that is secretly working in these days. The fourth thing that will happen is earthquake. The word earthquake, in the Greek word seismos, means vibration, earthquake, and storm, so what will happen means severe environmental fluctuations, including earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, heavy storm. When studying the data of the number of times of earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, and severe storms, it was found that, from the year 1500 to the year 2022, the number of these natural disasters are occurring more and more often, with the very high growth rate. Jesus said, "These are the beginnings of suffering." The word suffering, in Greek used the word ordinon, means suffering, or pain that precedes childbirth. The reason Jesus said this was because the pain before childbirth was a sign that the time of childbirth would come, a metaphor that the time of the end had come when these signs appear. Matthew chapter 24 verse 9 to 14 said, "Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations, for my name's sake, and then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. And many false prophets shall rise, and shall deceive many, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved, and this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world, for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come." But this context recorded in Luke in the different way. Luke chapter 21 verse 12 said, "But before all these, they shall lay their hands on you, and persecute you, delivering you up to the synagogues, and into prisons, being brought before kings and rulers for my name's sake." In Matthew, use the word "then, they shall deliver you up," but Luke used the word, "before these, they shall lay their hand on you." What Jesus speaking is the wearing to his disciple and also the prophecy for the Christian in the end time. The believer in the early of the church, after Jesus crucified been persecuted severely, those persecution will be repeat again, in the first 3.5 years of the end of the day. During that time, one world religion will be enforced, one world government led by Antichrist, will enact legislation to support one world religion, and also the monetary system, which will be digital currency, will be associated with faith, and used as a tool to compel people to accept the mark of the beast. By those who refuse to accept the mark, will not be able to buy or sell, and there will be a death penalty. Matthew chapter 24 verse 15 said, "When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation, spoken of by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place." What Jesus is saying now, he is talking about what the prophet Daniel was revealed by God through an angel Gabriel. Daniel chapter 9, verse 24 to verse 27, said, 70 weeks are determined upon thy people and upon thy holy city, to finish the transgression, and to make an end of sins, and to make reconciliation for iniquity, and to bring in everlasting righteousness, and to seal up the vision and prophecy, and to anoint the most holy. Know therefore and understand, that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem unto the Messiah the Prince, shall be 7 weeks, and 62 weeks, the street shall be built again, and the wall even in troublous times. And after 62 weeks, shall Messiah be cut off, but not for himself, and the people of the prince that shall come shall destroy the city, and the sanctuary, and the end thereof shall be with a flood, and unto the end of the war desolations are determined. And he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week, and in the midst of the week he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease, and for the overspreading of abominations he shall make it desolate even until the consummation, and that determined shall be poured upon the desolate. What Jesus is being said about is the last 7 years, which is called the 70th week of Daniel. This will be the 7-year period. The Antichrist, who received power from Satan, will appear in the last 7 years. He will make his covenant with many for 7 years, and in 3.5 years, Antichrist will establish himself as gods by setting up his own image in the temple of God, and to cease offering to God, but in due time, God shall punish and pour out his judgments. This is also the main structure of the book of Revelation, which God reveals to John. Matthew chapter 24, verse 16 to 22, said, "Then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains, let him which is on the housetop not come down to take anything out of his house, neither let him which is in the field return back to take his clothes. And woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. But pray ye, that your flight be not in the winter, neither on the Sabbath day, for then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, nor ever shall be. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake those days shall be shortened." The words Jesus said right now were for the Jews, or the Israel people, for at that time, the Antichrist had set up its idol in the temple of God, which was the breaking point, and caused the Lord to pour down his judgment. At that time, there will be a short period before the Lord to pour down his judgment. The Lord will send his angel, sealed 144,000 Israel people at the foreheads, and took them into the safe place which he had provided, which was the time of the 6th seal, recorded in the book of Revelation chapter 6 and chapter 7. Jesus said, "At that time, let him which is on the housetop not come down to take anything out of his house, neither let him which is in the field return back to take his clothes." This picture can be explained more easily if studies the time when the Lord delivered Lot from the judgment of Sodom and Gomorrah. Genesis chapter 19, verse 12 to verse 22, said, "And the men said unto Lot, Hast thou here any besides son-in-law, and thy sons, and thy daughters, and whatsoever thou hast in the city, bring them out of this place. For we will destroy this place, because the cry of them is waxen great before the face of the Lord, and the Lord hath sent us to destroy it." And Lot went out, and spoke unto his sons-in-law, which married his daughters, and said, Up, get you out of this place, for the Lord will destroy this city. But he seemed as one that mocked unto his sons-in-law. And when the morning arose, then the angels hastened Lot, saying, Arise, take thy wife, and thy 2 daughters, which are here, lest thou be consumed in the iniquity of the city. And while he lingered, the men laid hold upon his hand, and upon the hand of his wife, and upon the hand of his 2 daughters, the Lord being merciful unto him, and they brought him forth, and set him out the city. And it came to pass, when they had brought them forth abroad, that he said, Escape for thy life, look not behind thee, neither stay thou in all the plain, escape to the mountain, lest thou be consumed. And Lot said unto them, Oh, not so, my lord, behold now, thy servant hath found grace in thy sight, and thou hast magnified thy mercy, which thou hast shewed unto me, in saving my life, and I cannot escape to the mountain, lest some evil take me, and I die. Behold now, this city is near to flee unto, and it is a little one. Oh, let me escape thither, and my soul shall live. And he said unto him, See, I have accepted thee concerning this thing also, that I will not overthrow this city, for the which thou hast spoken. Haste thee, escape thither, for I cannot do anything, till thou be come thither. Therefore, the name of the city was called Zor. First, before the Lord judged Sodom and Gomorrah, the Lord sent an angel to help Lot. Before the time destruction, the same will be, in the time of the last days, the Lord will send his angel to help his people, by sending an angel to seal on the foreheads of 144,000 people Israel, whom he had chosen, before pouring down his judgment. Secondly, when the angel seal the Israel people, the angel of the Lord will lead them where to flee, for the Lord had prepared a place for them. Matthew chapter 24 verse 16, Jesus said, Then let those in Judea flee to the mountains. Genesis chapter 19 verse 17, said, Flee for your life, do not turn back, don't stop in this plain, flee to the mountains, or the Lord will be swept away too. So, at that time, the people of the Lord will not scatter without direction, but everyone will be led into the safe place of the Lord. Then the Lord poured down his judgments. Genesis chapter 19 verse 22, the angel said to Lot, Flee quickly, for I can do nothing until the Lord arrives there. The scripture clearly said, until the people of the Lord are in the safe place, the Lord may pour out his judgments. So, many Christians, having read Matthew chapter 24, verse 16 to 22, fail to understand that this sentence, Jesus said only to the Jews, causing confusion, or even finding refuge for themselves, to prepare for the end time. One of the most important aspects of reading the Bible is that God's promises and his plans for Israel and Christians are different. For Christians, no refuge arrangements needed, because God did not command, but Christians would be taken up first, or so-called rapture. Matthew chapter 24, verse 37 to verse 41, said, But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating, and drinking, marrying, and giving in marriage, until the day that Noah entered into the ark, and knew not, until the flood came, and took them all away, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. Then shall 2 be in the field, the one shall be taken, and the other left. 2 women shall be grinding at the mill, the one shall be taken, and the other left. The Bible clearly writes, there a rapture, before the day of God's judgment. Matthew chapter 24, verse 23 to 28, said, Then if any man shall say unto you, Lo, here is Christ, or there, believe it not, for there shall arise false Christs, and false prophets, and shall shew great signs and wonders, insomuch that, if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. Behold, I have told you before. Wherefore, if they shall say unto you, Behold, he is in the desert, go not forth, behold, he is in the secret chambers, believe it not, for as the lightning cometh out of the east, and shineth even unto the west, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be, for wheresoever the carcass is, there will the eagles be gathered together. In this verse, Jesus warned of two things that would happen: a false Christ, which here means a false Messiah, or Antichrist. For Christians, Jesus Christ is the Messiah, but for Israel, Judaists, they don't believe Jesus is the Messiah, and the Council of Jewish Elders, also known as the Sanhedrin, which condemned him to death, these Judaists await the coming of the Messiah even today. Therefore, what Jesus warned means, whenever a Jewish elder or rabbi declares they has found the Messiah, let the believers know that is the false Messiahs Jesus mentioned. The coming of the false Messiah, many people misunderstand that he will come and claim that he is Jesus Christ, coming for the second time as promised. In reality, it is not so. Bible said, this man will be a man of authority above all tribes, peoples, languages, and nations. The coming of the false Messiah would come for the abolition of Christianity and all the authority of Jesus. The one who came would claim he is the real Christ, which means God's anointed one, came to save the world and redeem the world from sin. By utterly abolishing faith in Jesus Christ, story of Jesus will be distorted. False evidence, especially scientific and historical evidences, will be raised to deceive people. The Antichrist will be able to perform signs and miracles to claim the authority of God, to abolish belief in Jesus Christ, and to abolish the belief in other religions. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 verse 4 said, Who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped, so that he is God, sitteth in the temple of God, shewing himself that he is God. The whole world will enter a new religion. This will be a form of one world religion, worship false Messiah, or Antichrist himself. Another thing, which Jesus warned believers, is the coming of a false prophet, a religious leader, authorized by the Antichrist. It compels people to worship the Antichrist, and to receive the mark of the beast, or the 666, which is recorded in Revelation chapter 13. This man will deceive people, even Christians, with signs and great miracles, by claiming that authority comes from God, which is actually from Satan. Matthew chapter 24, verse 30 to verse 31, said, And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven, with power and great glory, and he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. In this passage of Scripture, Jesus mentions his coming after the day of tribulation, which means, after God has poured out God's judgment, come down to this world, just as God had judged Sodom and Gomorrah with a judgment that sent down from heaven. Then Jesus will return according to his promise. Matthew chapter 24, verse 32 to 35 said, Now learn a parable of the fig tree. When his branch is yet tender, and put forth leaves, ye know that summer is nigh. So likewise ye, when ye shall see all these things, know that it is near, even at the doors. Verily I say unto you, this generation shall not pass, till all these things be fulfilled. Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my words shall not pass away. Jesus has spoken as a command that Christians must do is to learn and observe. By what Jesus command to learn and observe are a sign indicating the times of the last day, or the last 7 years of Daniel. By said, when you see the fig tree branching and budding, you know that summer is near. What Jesus said, he didn't specify the time, but let us note, so the thinking that the last day not so soon is not Jesus or the biblical thinking. However, one sentence that Jesus said, this generation has not passed away, all these things have certainly happened. This sentence confuses many and leads to the point that the end time passed since the destruction of the temple of God in AD 70. however, that believing are invalid, because they are not consistent with what is recorded in the Bible, especially with regard to the last days. The term "this generation does not pass away," Jesus is referring to the kind of people following the example of the Pharisees and scribes, whom Jesus so strongly rebuked in Matthew chapter 23, which means the people with the following characteristics. The people that seek honor and praise from men makes religion a heavy burden and is used to persecute believers. The one who closes God's heavenly door in front of people does not enter himself and prevents others from entering. The one who leads the people to live up to their evil beliefs, a person who teaches people in the wrong way, is like a blind and misguided guide. Those who show themselves to be pure, but their inner heart is greedy and drunk on evil, those who profess to be holy and alive with God, but actually within are sin and death. People who are righteous on the outside, but on the inside, are hypocrites and wicked. People who oppose or kill God's servants. Matthew chapter 23, verse 34 to verse 36, said, "Wherefore, behold, I send unto you prophets, and wise men, and scribes, and some of them ye shall kill, and crucify, and some of them shall ye scourge in your synagogues, and persecute them from city to city, that upon you may come all the righteous blood shed upon the earth, from the blood of righteous Abel unto the blood of Zacharias, son of Barachias, whom ye slew, between the temple and the altar. Verily I say unto you, all these things shall come upon this generation." Therefore, the meaning of this sentence means those who are wicked, according to the example of the Pharisees and the scribes, will not disappear and will remain until the day of God's judgment. Matthew chapter 24 verse 36 said, "But of that day and hour knoweth no man, no not the angels of heaven, but my Father only." What Jesus was saying now was teaching about the rapture, not referring to his second coming on the last day. The rapture is Jesus take up the Christians who have waited for him before the great tribulation, which he says in verse 21, "For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no nor ever shall be." Before this moment, God will rapture Christians who, observing, learning, and awaiting his return, ascend first. Matthew chapter 24 verse 42 said, "Watch therefore, for ye know not what hour your Lord doth come." Mark chapter 13 verse 33 said, "Take ye heed, watch and pray, for ye know not when the time is." Matthew chapter 24 verse 37 to verse 41 said, "But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be, for as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying, and giving in marriage, until the day that Noah entered into the ark, and knew not, until the flood came and took them all away, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. Then shall two be in the field, the one shall be taken, and the other left, 2 women shall be grinding at the mill, the one shall be taken, and the other left." Luke chapter 17, verse 26 to verse 29, said, "And as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be also in the days of the Son of Man. They did eat, they drank, they married wives, they were given in marriage, until the day that Noah entered into the ark, and the flood came and destroyed them all. Likewise, also as it was in the days of Lot, they did eat, they drank, they bought, they sold, they planted, they builded, but the same day that Lot went out of Sodom, it rained fire and brimstone from heaven, and destroyed them all." Luke chapter 17 verse 30 said, "Even thus shall it be in the day when the Son of Man is revealed." What is noteworthy is, on that day, most people did not wait for God, only a small number of people were saved, such as in the time of Noah, only Noah's family only survived, or in Lot's time only Lot's family survived, except Lot's wife, who died on the way. Another observation is, the time of his coming is a time that people do not really expect, because that time is not a time of tribulation, tends to turn people to God. But at that time it will be a time when people live their lives normally, eat and drink, buy and sell, build, given marriage, and that is what Jesus warned in Mark chapter 13 verse 33, "Take ye heed, watch and pray, for ye know not when the time is." Matthew chapter 24, verse 45 to 51 said, "Who then is a faithful and wise servant, whom his Lord hath made ruler over his household, to give them meat in due season? Blessed is that servant, whom his Lord when he cometh shall find so doing. Verily I say unto you, that he shall make him ruler over all his goods. And if that evil servant shall say in his heart, My Lord delayeth his coming, and shall begin to smite his fellow servants, and to eat and drink with the drunken, the Lord of that servant shall come in a day, when he looketh not for him, and in an hour that he is not aware of, and shall cut him asunder, and appoint him his portion with the hypocrites. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth." Jesus mentions two types of believers: those who wait for his return, like servants who wait for the return of their master, and believers who think that Jesus will not return anytime soon. This, like a servant, did not expect that the master would come back anytime soon. Jesus calls the waiting believer faithful and wise, and will set him up to watch over all the master's goods when the master returns. As for the believers who think Jesus, or master, for a long time until he returned, Jesus called him an evil servant and would be punished like a hypocrite. And here is the teachings of Jesus, teaching about the end times, for us to understand things to come and to learn to observe the signs of the end times and awaiting his return. Eli Planet Ministry has a vision to establish a virtual church, an online virtual world with the virtual reality technology. The objective is to be able to reach people all over the world, regardless of location, time zone, or language. People can access to teaching videos, joining Christian fellowship activity, praying together, read the Bible together, or joining in the worship of God at the church with the realistic and seamless experience. We have also translated teachings and sermons into different languages, including French, Russian, Latin, Chinese, Japanese, and Thai, in order to bless as many people as possible and bring more people to God. To accomplish the target, still need more support and budget. Matthew chapter 10 verse 42 said, "And if anyone gives even a cup of cold water to one of these little ones, who is my disciple, truly I tell you, that person will certainly not lose their reward." Daniel chapter 12 verse 3 said, "Those who are wise will shine like the brightness of the heavens, and those who lead many to righteousness like the stars forever and ever." If you have the vision to lead many people come to righteousness, and will has a glory like the star forever and ever, you can support our vision by looking at details through the website. May God's blessing be with you.